Thailand is threatening to sue Facebook. So if you're not familiar with the laws out in Thailand, lèse-majesté laws, which are basically you can't do anything to defame or hurt the dignity of the king, or like the whole monarchy. If you do that, you could easily go to jail. In fact, it says here that for more than a century now, the Southeast Asian countries' laws have been protecting the ruling family from defamation, insults, and threats. Mocking the monarchy in Thailand is punishable by up to 15 years in jail. And the authorities there, they'll go, Brett, you recently visited there, right? I want to talk to you about that. But the authorities, according to this article, it says, quote, that they will go to great lengths to remove all potentially embarrassing and unfavorable depictions of the country's rulers. So the reason why we're bringing this up, let's look at these photos because the king was spotted in Munich. The king was spotted in Munich at a mall wearing a crop top and apparently fake tattoos. Those are fake tattoos according to the article. And these photos and a video actually that went almost, pretty much went viral. It was
walking around the mall.
Yep, 500,000 views thus far. It showed was him walking around the mall with his crop top and the exposed fake tattoos. And apparently it was captured by a Thai citizen there because the Thai citizen had recognized, oh, this is the king. So the reason why this is all being brought up is Thailand is furious that this video and the photographs are getting a lot of looks. And so they have asked Facebook to take it down. Facebook did put a geotag on it to restrict it. So if you're in Thailand, you can't watch it. But there's still a number of different, here we can watch it. And there's still, I guess, some other videos that are trailing around. And so now the Thai government is threatening to sue Facebook. It says here, according to the Telegraph, quote, if even a single illicit page remains, we will immediately discuss what legal steps to take against Facebook Thailand. When you were there, you were seeing him about to rise to the throne.
Yeah, the king had just died and they were in a mourning period. So everyone in that was Thai was wearing black or white. And they had covered, you know how they have those billboards that are electronic and scroll through different ads. They were all black with the picture of the king who had just died. They called him father. They loved him. He's by all accounts a really great king. And when he died, there was a lot of not turmoil, but people were not sure and uncertainty about what would happen next because this king had more of a playboy lifestyle.
You're right.
And didn't even live in the country, had been in Germany and traveling the world, and there had been videos before of him. It was essentially like this big buffet table with his topless wife feeding a swan, like a lot of strange, eccentric behavior, and they were uncertain whether he would want to be the king. And then his sister was more like the dad and all that stuff, but they told us like, it's a real thing that's happening, that they will prosecute you if you desecrate the king's image. And that goes all the way down to like crumpling the paper, the money and throwing it on the ground or anything like that.
But let me challenge you because you said that they loved the king and they were so sad. And I don't know anything about Thailand, but if they are censoring everything, how do you know their true feelings if they can't?
So that's the thing. When we went to Tokyo before that, and we're on the street, and there was a Pop Trigger fan that's like, I watch Pop Trigger.
Yay!
And he came up, he talked to us Riley High.
That's fun.
And I said we were going to Thailand, and he said he knew a guy who was Thai, and when he got to Tokyo, went out on the roof and just yelled, I hate the king. And it wasn't because he hated the king, it's just that he could never say that. And so it is an interesting thing where like, he did reach out to the poor a lot and he didn't have to. He did a lot of philanthropic work and he didn't necessarily need to. But he was king for many, many years. Now Queen Elizabeth is the longest serving monarch. He was before. And there was relative stability for decades in the country. And that's a really good thing. But it is weird at the same time, you can't say anything negative. But this guy didn't hate the king. He just felt like he he needed to say it because he wasn't allowed to before.
Interesting.
Yeah, I also think it's important to remember that this story is getting traction because Thailand is suing Facebook, but Facebook, yeah, potentially, but Facebook limiting what certain countries can see is not new. If it violates the laws in any given country, that country can reach out to Facebook, and Facebook, in many instances, has complied and say, all right, we'll put a geotag and limit it for what we can see.
They have to, right? Because it's by law.
So, like an example is that in Germany, it is against the law to be a Holocaust denier. So if there is any sort of a Facebook page that would be perpetuating a denial of the Holocaust, Germany, the government, can reach out to Facebook and be like, hey, we don't want these pages to be accessible in Germany. And Facebook will more often than not be like, yeah, so like totally fine, and they'll do that, but the pages will still be accessible from another country like the United States. But the United States has also like asked for certain pages to be taken down. Yeah, for hate groups and that sort of thing. It's interesting because Thailand it seems as though they might be prepared to take it a step further, because they want all of this content to be taken down, where usually it's enough for a country to be like, okay, we don't govern the world. We can't tell you what you can and cannot put up for a global spectrum.
Because most people would look at that, I mean, here in America, and you wouldn't think that's offensive.
But it's like,
but for them.
And then there's, I would imagine, some kind of cultural exchange where Thailand stands by the idea that you shouldn't be able to desecrate the image of their king. And is it enough for them saving face-wise to just say, limit it in our country? Or do they need at least to make some kind of apparent effort to limit it elsewhere, come to an agreement where maybe they get a few more concessions, like people who are from Thailand can't see it, like if they say their hometown is Bangkok, even if they're living in Germany can't see it.
They were pretty direct. The officials that released that statement saying if even a single illicit page remains, we will discuss legal steps with Facebook.
Right, but
that's direct.
From my knowledge of people at Facebook, like specifically Thailand, there's no way that Facebook is going to misunderstand this or do anything that is disrespectful. I think they will come to an understanding.
Yeah.
They'll find a way to do it, but they can't compromise their like international policies, because it's one of those things where like they have to structure it a very specific way so that they don't, create a slippery slope or an open door for other countries to take whatever concessions they made to Thailand and try to angle for more.
Scary though, if that was like, you got to think about, the censorship aspect. Like if that was here, we wouldn't know anything bad that like potentially Donald Trump was doing. Like, so they don't know anything that this ruler potentially does bad that is hurting the people if it's always censored. That's really scary.
It's really scary.
It's really f***ed up. I mean, I don't know much about it, but just on the surface from looking at these articles and yeah.
But if you ever want to go to Thailand, tell Amir to delete this video before you go.
Okay, I will. All right, that's it for us today.
Oh.
Yay, that's it. So please tune in next time on Pop Trigger.